Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd have a bit of a waffle about heaters. Now I've chosen today's tank to look at because A, it looks nice, it's clean, and B, the heater is blatantly obvious. Now, what does the heater do? Why do we need one? Well, you don't necessarily. If you're keeping fish that don't require warmer water, or you keep your fish room or home heated to that kind of level, then no, you don't need a heater. Oh, excuse me. Now, I tend to keep tropical fish that need warmer water, and I don't heat my house that hot. Why not? I don't like being hot, simple as. Now in UK terms, I heat my house this time of year between 16-18 degrees, somewhere around there, which is considered cold water, or at the most temperate. This is more due to me just not liking the heat and being fat and hairy, so there's that reason. Now, assuming that we do need a heater in the tank, what one do we go for? There's so much choice on the market. Well, there are the little non-adjustable ones. They work okay for a smaller tank, especially if you heat your house more than I do. 90 to 95% of the heaters that we've probably got are either the same as or very similar to what is in here, which is just a standard Interpet. Came with the tank jobby, glass tube, heating element in it like out of a kettle, and a bimetallic switch, along with a method to control the pre-tension on the switch to set the temperature at which it turns off. Nothing more complicated than that. There's no magic or anything in there. Most of them don't have anything even remotely electronic in, except for maybe an indicator lamp. Now, where do we fit the heater in our tanks? Well, in the water flow, quite obviously, and preferably either at an angle or horizontal. To me, at an angle, 45 degrees ish, seems a good baseline, and it's all due to the way that convection works. As we all know, heat rises, hot air rises, all that good stuff. So if you have your heater mounted vertically, it heats the water around it, that hot water rises, and it switches the heater off. The rest of the tank might be stone cold, but the bit around the heat is warm. Whereas if you have it at an angle and in the flow, you're spreading out the distance the heat rises across the length of the thermometer, or not thermometer, the heater, and the temperature sensor, whether it be a simple bimetallic strip like this or something more posh and complex like a digital thermostat, doesn't switch off quite so early, let's say that. Best of both worlds situation. So there we have that. Another thing I do here quite a lot, and it is Facebook posts where I get a lot of my video ideas from, so thanks peeps. I hear a lot of people saying, I've set my heater to, let's pick a number, 26 degrees, but my tank temperature is only showing at 24 or 22. Let's go a bit bigger, let's say 22. Is my heater faulty? Well, no. your heater's working perfectly. You've just not got it set right. Now you probably can't see in the picture. You might be able to see, but just up in that corner, put my hand down a bit, there we go, just over there somewhere, I've got a little glass bulb thermometer, the old fashioned kind, the one that we've all had stuck in our mouth and various other orifices at visits to the doctor at some point in our life. And that is what you judge your temperature by. You know, really expensive high-end heating systems aside, if it's an all-in-one heater, the number you set on the heater isn't going to be the number that the tank's set at. Now, something like maybe a Fluval E series, which is all digital and posh, might be closer. Due to the actual temperature you set might be the temperature that it switches off at. But with these mass-produced bimetallic switches, which is, work exactly the same way a kettle does. That's all they are, basically. It's a kettle. The degree of accuracy on those is, let's just say, less than perfect. So even if you had really good circulation and everything in the tank, there was no dead spots, everything was awesome, and you set that heater to 26 degrees, and then you check the temperature, chances it's not going to be there. Simply because the number that's printed on that little dial at the top probably has nothing to do with whatsoever with the actual temperature. It's just a graduated scale they've put on there so you can think you're setting the temperature. You should always set the temperature using a thermometer. Now, I prefer the old-fashioned glass ones, but I don't have things like Oscars or large cichlids that tend to attack them. Now, being glass, they can be delicate, and if you have large aggressive fish, they might decide to try and eat the thermometer. So it's probably best not to go with them in that case. The stick-on ones that you stick on the outside of the tank are about as much use as a chocolate coffee pot. Most you can garner from those is that the heater's working, which the little orange, or if they're really posh, blue light will show you anyway as the heater clicks on and off. So there we go, we know that. Right on cue, I don't know if you can see it, the orange lamp on the heater just switched on. So it's saying that temperature's too cold, I'm going to heat it up a bit and then I'm going to switch off. Job done. Let me just relight my ciggy and regain my thoughts. Other problems with heaters. People that like to hide them. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's not a pretty thing to look at. But if you tuck it down the back behind a rock or a piece of wood and it's out of the flow, it's really not doing you much good at all. If anything, all you're doing is basically superheating one part of the tank and working the heater super hard. So it's like anything, it has a limited life cycle of on-off. Anything electrical, you turn it on, you turn it off, it's a limited life cycle. It's a mechanical thing, really. Just like the points in a car. Showing me age there. So that's some of the basics about heaters. Now, if you want to really check things, you can get digital thermometer guns. Again, no. Only as good as the calibration. Same with anything. Check with a couple of things. Get a couple of sources and then work out what the best average or the correct answer is. If you use two different things and they come up with exactly the same result, then bonus. If they're wildly different, then you need to figure out which one is wrong. And if one of them is a glass thermometer and one of them is the digital thermometer, I'd be trusting the glass one above the digital. There's a reason we've been using them for hundreds of years. It's because they work. Keep it simple. Now, other people have had issues, and I probably will at some point, where heaters malfunction. They either stick off or they stick on. In the case of a bimetallic switch, has it reached the end of its life? In the case of something electronic, has it gone bang? For those situations, yes, you can get heater controllers. I think Inkbird make them. There's probably other companies as well. And basically what they are is an external thermostat. Temperature sensor in the tank. Heater plugs into the base unit, which plugs into the wall. And if the thermostat goes, hang on, this tank's getting a bit too warm, it'll switch the heater off for you. So it prevents runaways and cooking your fish. Obviously, if the heater dies open, as it were, it's not going to do anything. If the heater's leaking electrical current, it's not going to do anything. That's where you need to have things earthed, which in the UK, legally everything has to be earthed, which is why we have a third pin on our plugs. Well, I say everything, there are certain low voltage applications and things that don't draw a lot of current that you don't need to earth. They have a plastic third pin. If you cut the third pin off, you can't actually plug the thing into the socket. So yes, extra safety feature. Relight. Yes, heaters. So that's why we have them, what they do, how they work, and it's really not difficult to understand. They're a very simple thing. As I say, just don't trust the numbers printed on the thermometer, or on the heater, sorry. You know, have a thermometer in your tank of some description. I mean, even if it is just one of those stick-on ones, it will give you at least some kind of clue what's happening. Now, there was something else I wanted to address before I disappear off. I did cause a bit of hoo-ha the other week with some comments I made on someone else's live stream regarding filter media, and I would just like to take this opportunity to say to those people that have gone to the time to find me on Facebook, find me on Messenger, then send me private messages, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping anyone. Not one of you has had any scientific proof that said media offers a benefit. Some of you don't even appear to understand the nitrogen cycle, and yet others really just don't understand what the heck is going on in their tanks. So to them I would say, instead of bugging me because I've disagreed with something that your guru has said, now, because you're not going to bother me, I just laugh and go back to watching pornography, to be honest. It's more entertaining, has more intellect. Do some research into these things. Don't just believe what one person on YouTube says. Says one person on YouTube. Do your own research. Find different sources. Look out for different points of view. Then come to your own conclusion. Just because person A says something is the way it is, doesn't mean that person B is wrong. Just because filtration media A works perfectly fine for me, you might need filtration media B for your application. You know, work it out. Do your own research. Don't believe marketing. As Corey even said, people who are selling a product are there to sell a product. Okay? They want your money. They don't necessarily want to make your life easier, your fish tank healthier, your car faster. They want to make money. I don't blame them. They want to feed themselves, pay their bills, feed the kids, all that stuff, like we all do. But just take it with a pinch of salt when someone who is selling you something offers a air quotes scientific proof. Yeah, just don't take it as gospel. Yeah, just a spot of friendly advice from me, because I've dealt with far worse trolls than there are in the fish fam, in the online fish community at large. Yeah, I can be as big a troll as any of you can, but I do it with facts behind me, so, you know, you're gonna lose. But on a brighter note, before we leave, as you can probably see, tank, nice, healthy, happy. Guppy's growing out nicely and will be coming out relatively soon, although I'll probably leave Smiler in there because I like Smiler. He's a very special guppy. Assuming he's still around somewhere, not been eaten. That would be quite a shame. Uh-oh, I don't see Smiler. Where you gone, Smiler? Oh well, if Smiler is an ex-guppy, then rest in peace, little Smiler. But yes, so the guppies will be coming out at some point in the not too distant. And, oh, there's Smiler. Hello, Smiler. I knew you'd come out to say hello. So the epistogrammas are settling in well. And you can see Robert, he just decided to pose right in front of the camera in full flare. Absolutely stunning. And Roberta, you might just be able to see her poking out of the coconut cave. She's got her breeding colours on, and she keeps going in and out, removing little bits of substrate or snail or whatever, making sure everything in there is nice and clean, and keeps going, woohoo, I'm here, to Robert. So with a bit of luck, we should have some boblets soon. Fingers crossed anyway. So thanks for watching and listening to me waffle and have a little bit of a rant there near the end. Sometimes the air needs to be cleared, and I will always defend myself if I believe I'm in the right, usually to my detriment. But enjoy your fish keeping. Hope I've set a few things straight about heaters. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye from me, and bye bye from Robert. Bye.